Welcome back to This Morning Now. We watched him battle bush tucker trials and get covered in critters and the Armistice Lake jungle, but Fred Sirieix is back to the day job. Matchmaking and food and singletons looking for love.
Yeah, before we chat to him, though, let's take a look back at the latest series of first dates.
This is 26-year-old happy-go-lucky heartthrob, Aaron.
I reckon I should be wearing that.
I live in North Devon. There's not many people in general, let alone girls that are my age. You have more cows than girls over there.
You look like a young Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt? No.
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm a bit nervous, but I'm good. Do you know what I did earlier? My wisdom tooth's coming through, and I put numbing cream on it, and I spilt it, and it's gone all on my tongue, so now I'm half lisping.
So what's the ideal scenario for your date?
Well, obviously, we go on a second date, and then a third date, and then 3 years later, get a golden retriever, live happily ever after, sorted.
No, with the old stones.
Yeah, and Fred joins us now, mid-conversation.
It's because we're so excited about the new show.
10 years of first dates, man. Could you have imagined?
I couldn't have believed it. I mean, 10 years on, and here we're in Bath, and this was, when I arrived in Bath, something happened and there was so much energy. I mean, the vibe was incredible.
Great city, isn't it, Bath?
It's beautiful because, it's an historic city.
Yeah.
It's dates back from the Romans, it's full of stones, there's a lot of pedestrian area. So you can just walk and you can hear people have conversations. And so I think there is something in the air there. It feels very villagey, it's very English, but it's very beautiful. And I think that the beauty has a lot to do with the success of the series. And then we have an amazing restaurant, because we're a roaming restaurant. This is the fourth restaurant that we are operating in. But this one was, I think, by far the best because of, it's 250 years old, it's quite quirky, and it's a very interesting layout. I mean, look at the bar, how beautiful it is. And everybody was really excited, from the production team, from all of us on the floor, from the researchers, and the daters, I think, felt it. And I was thinking, is it my mind playing trick to myself, and me wanting to believe the narrative that because it's 10 years, it's better than ever. And I was just doubting myself. Anyway, to cut a long story short, this is the series where we've had the most yeses in 10 years.
Oh, that's nice.
So I think it just says a long story,
Yeah. I think it's to do with the producers, though, because they really do go into in-depth research on each person, don't they? So that's the reason why I think it hits every single time and why they do get those great matches.
I think that, first date is a big operation. So at the heart of it, of course, you got the daters, and it's about matching them to perfection. Then it's the location, I think, is very important, because this is all these subliminal messages that you don't realize, but they enter your brain and they impact on the way you think. It's like you go to a restaurant and somebody welcome you at the door and you think it's a great welcome and you think, yeah, that's great. And then you go to the next stage of your meal and as you progress and everything is good, you think it's fantastic. But if you had something bad to start with, what the saying, if you look for trouble, you will find trouble. And actually, you never found trouble. So people just were ready for love. And remember also on first dates, a lot of people come to the restaurant because for them, they feel we are the last chance saloon. They've tried everything. And so we have a real responsibility to make sure that it works and it's a memory for them and it's so special. And that's why we've got so many yeses.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. It's
Isn't
such
it
a lovely
funny
show.
that you said it's like, you're basically you're the travelling Wilburys, aren't you? You go somewhere different with all your crew, with all, I guess the same chefs come back and stuff, like to...
No, I mean, it's a different restaurant, so different chef. I mean,
chef.
The team that stays is the front of our team.
Yeah.
It's Merlin, it's Cici, it's Francesca. We've had a few more people joining the team. In the restaurant industry, that's what happened. People come and go. So we have a new team, fantastic guys. And, I think that's the reason why we had such a successful series.
And Merlin is back with
Merlin, I love Merlin, and I think for me he's such an inspiration, such an example of stoicism in the face of adversity, his philosophy, and, throughout, I mean, he's had cancer. It's a very serious disease, situation that he's in, and he's just taken it in his stride. I'm so inspired by him. He's just incredible.
Everyone loves him. He's like the staple of first dates, isn't he?
And he's such a pro, as a bartender. We come from the same mold in terms of our training, our professional training in restaurants. So we're very old school in our approach, and that's why it works so well, because we've got the same idea, the same vision on how the restaurant should be run, and it's just a perfect partnership.
We saw one of the winners of Traitors earlier on.
I know.
I can't believe it. And does he just go and... Is it like a celebrity version, or does he just join the everyday
He fancied the date, and this is what we do, so they come in and...
So did it go well? Are you allowed to tell us?
I can't tell you,
because
the episode is soon. I can't tell you.
I hope they get together.
And he was on his A game.
Was he?
All we know is he's a faithful one anyway, so I reckon it's going to be a good story.
Fred, Valentine's Day is coming up. I always think people took far too much stock in Valentine's Day and put too much pressure on
Should be every
themselves.
day, shouldn't it?
Well, kind of, but also it's the smaller things, I think, about Valentine's. You don't need to have big, grandiose gestures. But what's your...
It's exactly the way I think. It's about the small thing. It's not about how much money you spend or where you go. It's the thought that counts. That's what people say, but it's so true. You know, and you know, it's simple, for example, going for a walk maybe, you know, the anticipation, maybe a bit of chocolate or, you know, a bit of rose petal in the bath, you know, I mean...
Little
Us
surprise.
bloke, we don't think about that, you know, but girls, they really love, you know, a little bit of
We
petal
love
in
all
the...
that.
They
We love all
yeah.
that.
And
Is that
it's
what you do for your partner? What would you do, like, on a nice Valentine's Day? Go on, give me the lowdown. I want to be, like, in there.
Well, I can't
You wanna
tell
be
you because
fruitcake?
everybody
Yeah, I
will
wanna be
know what's going
fruitcake.
to happen.
Would you do the rose petals there and stuff like that?
Yeah, of course.
I
yes.
love that.
I mean, it's, for me, I think it's the anticipation, it's the thought, it's about also thinking about what this person likes, you know, but it's the time that we're going to spend together that's important, and to make so that fruitcake knows that I'm thinking about it and I'm only thinking about it, and that's what's important. I think.
Yeah.
It's
Also, just
easy
think
to
about
do.
what's going to make someone comfortable rather than take someone out of the comfort zone. You know, making sure you probably indulge someone, you know what someone loves, so making sure you indulge it.
But it is the little things. I do
I think
agree.
it's easy to make people feel good.
Yeah.
You know, and you just have to you know, the thought, you know, the smile, you know, just a little gesture, you know, and it starts from the day before. It starts in the morning when you wake up, and it should be a full day of celebrations.
I think being present is the new thing as well. You know, so many people are in their phones, watching the phones and everything, not present in the moment, are they?
Yeah, and that's why distance relationship are very difficult, because proximity and being close to somebody physically is very important. But as you say, you could be very close physically, but then you're on your phone, and therefore you're very far away. So yeah, it's thinking about those very simple basics there, which I think everybody can do. And in a world that we're living today, for example, with the cost of living crisis and all this, when not everybody maybe can afford to go out, but you don't need to go out to a fancy restaurant and spend hundreds of pounds.
Yeah.
You can do it at home. You can cook a very nice meal on a budget that's delicious, but you can be physically and mentally present there. And you can hold hands and you can kiss and you can talk and you can connect, because it's very easy even though you're together as a couple, to disconnect and to just slide very slowly but surely to a point where suddenly you're like, oh, what are we doing here? You know, it's important to keep it in the right direction, and that is something that you can only do by being together and by talking, by assessing where we each are. And it's, you never won. You always have to work at it.
Yeah.
Hey, Fred, earlier we did our little news review and we talked about apparently couples now living in separate bedrooms. What's your opinion about this?
Well, funny you say that, because I snore, apparently.
Do you?
No.
Apparently. Although the other day I recorded Fruitcake snoring and I played it to her and it was very loud, so it was 1-1, right? But sometimes I snore and she goes next door. And then we play kind of bedroom ping pong, you know, so she goes next door and she comes back and then she goes again. But I find that when she goes away, I tend to just go like this on the bed, you know, and I go sideways.
Spread.
No, I spread, and she comes back and then she kicks me and I think, I prefer when you were there, because
Honestly, we are so excited about this show, we really are. But I've got to ask, first of all, you're looking absolutely great. Is this from I'm a Celebrity? You look so good at the moment.
Thank you. The funny thing, when I meet people in the street, they say, Fred, you look so skinny, you've lost so much weight.
Yeah.
This is the heaviest I've been in my life.
Stop it.
Yeah, I'm 79, 80 kilos. I'm really heavy now, for me, for my weight.
So do you think it's from being in the jungle and then you come back and stuffed your face?
Yeah, because I came back and I overindulged. I mean, after a
Who
month,
wouldn't?
you're
It's a
in the
long
jungle.
time.
You know, I had my first coffee and it just went straight in my head. I was buzzing.
When are you going to come and cook for us on the show? That's what I want to know.
Well, I think a couple of weeks, 3 weeks,
Are
3
you?
weeks. Yeah, I'll come and I've got a really nice recipe, you know, something that everybody's got in their cupboard, very easy to do, 15 minutes tops, and you've got a delicious meal.
Good
We're
news.
in. Thanks, Fred.
Good news.
First dates continued at 10 o'clock, Channel 4 on Tuesday. First dates Be My Valentine the following Tuesday. Thanks, Fred.
Thank you, guys.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much, Fred. Now,